Today we are starting Unit 2A, which is about equations. This is Lesson 1, solving multi-step equations. So on your notes paper today, start it by putting at the top Unit 2A-1 or Lesson 2A.1, solving multi-step equations. This stuff should be pretty familiar to you since you've been solving equations for a while now. I know you do lots of equations in 6th grade, and then in 7th grade you even did some of the multi-step ones. So especially the ones that we do at the very beginning, they're probably really familiar to you. So this should be a good sign that you've done this before. So let's get started. When solving for a variable, use the opposite or inverse operation and use your graphic organizer, that's your foldable, to help you. So here's two examples that we're going to walk through first. So starting with example 1, write on your paper 10x minus 15 equals 15. So we're always going to start by drawing the wall, which is just a line. We draw down our equal symbol, and that's what helps us to keep the equation balanced. If we write something on the left side, we also have to write it on the right side, because what you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So we always start by identifying our variable, which is what we want to get by itself. I always draw just a little arrow, so I remember this is my goal, is to get x alone. So I look at what's around it. I have 10 times x, but I also have a minus 15. So starting on my foldable, do I have any grouping symbols? Are there any parentheses, brackets, braces, or fraction bars? And the answer is no. Then we say, okay, are there any like terms on the same side that need to be combined? And no, we can't combine anything over here and nothing on this side. Do we have variables on both sides? No, we don't. So the next step was, do we have constants? And we do. We have a negative 15 or a minus 15. So we need to first move the constant by adding 15, because that is the opposite. And what you do to one side, you do to the other, so we're also going to add 15 over here. The negative 15 and the positive 15 are going to cancel, and that's what we want to happen. If we didn't cancel, that means we didn't do the inverse. On this side, we have 15 plus 15, which gives us 30. And over here, we have our 10x left, so we bring it down. Next, we still want to get our x alone, so we're getting rid of this times 10, because 10x means 10 times x. So the opposite of multiplying by 10 would be dividing by 10. And what you do to one side, you do to the other, so I also have to divide by 10 over here. So I'm going to cancel out 10 divided by 10 cancels, leaving me with just x, and 30 divided by 10, that gives me 3. So my answer is x equals 3. Now, I'm going to check my answer by plugging 3 back in. So I have 10 times 3 minus 15, and we're going to see if that equals 15. So in your calculator, type in 10 times 3 minus 15. Do it all at once, and then hit the equal sign. Here is where I'm going to model what to enter into your calculator. So we're first going to enter 10 times 3, because that's what we got for x, minus 15. And we don't put anything else. We just hit enter and see if that gives us 15, which is what we had on the original problem, equals 15. So now I'm going to write on my check, which when I clicked off of it, the wording went, all my work is gone. And that did equal 15, so I give it a check mark. And that's all I want you to do for checks, is write the problem out with whatever value we find for x. Since we got x equals 3, I just want you to rewrite the problem with that number plugged in, and then use your calculator to check it. So it should be an easy, quick check. All right, let's do example 2. We have k divided by 4, because remember the fraction bar means divide, plus 10 equals 6. So we always begin by drawing our wall to divide our problem into half so that we can keep it balanced. All right, so do we have any grouping symbols? Well, dividing is a grouping symbol. In this case, there's not a group on top or bottom. There's only one item on the top and on the bottom. There's not a group of things on the top or bottom. So then we say, okay, are there anything to combine? And no, we can't combine anything on this side, and we can't combine over here either. So do we have variables on both sides? No, we only have variables on the left. So then, are there any constants? And yes, we have this plus 10. So we're going to get rid of the plus 10 by doing minus 10. And what you do on one side, you got to do in the other. So we're going to subtract 10 over here. The positive 10 and the negative 10 are going to cancel, leaving us with just k divided by 4. and that is equal to 6 minus 10, and 6 minus 10 is negative 4. Now we're ready to get k by itself, because again, that is our variable, but it's being divided by 4. So the opposite of dividing by 4 would be multiply by 4. And what you do to one side, you do to the other, so we have to multiply by 4 over here. So we're going to cross out, divide and multiply by 4, leaving us with just k, and negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. So I'll get k equals negative 16. And now I'm ready to check. So I'm going to rewrite my original problem, but where the k is, I'm going to write negative 16 to see if it checks out. So negative 16 divided by 4 plus 10, and I want to see if that equals 6. So in my calculator, I'm going to type negative 16 divided by 4 plus 10, and then hit the equal sign and see if I get 6. So negative 16 divided by 4 plus 10. When I click off of this, my writing's going to go away. So negative 16 divided by 4 plus 10. Negative 16. Here we go. So the negative sign is down here next to the enter. Negative 16. You don't use the minus sign, you have to use the negative. So it's down here next to between the decimal point and the enter symbol on the bottom row. Negative 16 divided by, and I'm going to have to look because I can't remember, 4 plus 10. Divided by 4 plus 10. And hit enter, and we get 6. And that is exactly what we got on here as well. So this one checks out. All right. Now there's some problems on the next page. I want you to try those on your own. Once you've done all 4, then press play and go over the answers with me.